So, from gâchettes forward to philosophical fragments, we see that the text challenges the idea that fragmentation and system are opposed. Fragmentation does not eliminate systematic thinking, it redefines it. The intention to organize and relate ideas remains, but the expectation of completion is rejected. This produces a new model, a constellation. Fragments remain autonomous yet connected. The system is coherent but never finished. This openness is not a weakness, it prevents rigidity and dogma. Fragmentation keeps the system active and revisable. Ultimately, systematic intention without closure becomes a higher form of both order and freedom, a system that remains in continuous becoming, always oriented toward a totality it never fully reaches. From this analysis, we produced Plot 20, a study model. As you can see in the first image, higher unity emerges through chaos, as fragmentation engages in escape and striving without closure. In the second image, relations form through extension of the white base and intrusion of black factors, generating tension. Here, fleeting closure produces an illusion of floating, where unity briefly appears and dissolves. And finally, push and angulation create momentum, sustaining a dynamic field that never fully resolves. And so, the spatial condition emerging from my A2 model is a dynamic field of tension and deferred unity. Further site visits allowed us to write a paragraph from which I take those remarks. The named villa is hidden by large walls and metal gates. It is almost completely hidden and goes unnoticed, therefore we shall call it the invisible villa. ChatGPT enhanced my text and raised a critical question. Can architecture still claim significance when it does not enter the realm of lived perception? From this site survey, we created a photomontage. And you can see that the photomontage produces a fragmented field where elements are suspended within void, disrupting continuity and stable perception, resisting the formation of a whole and embodying the site's concealment. Additionally, site research on our building or space of interest, in my case it's the building, allowed deeper understanding of the site. We explore the building's passive cooling strategy. You can see that the southwest wing captures cooling sea breezes while pressure differentials across the northeast northwest facades enable cross ventilation through the units. The system is reinforced by the park effect, as proximity to the Sanaya garden introduces a cooler microclimate, preconditioning incoming air. My proposal adopts this strategy using natural ventilation and greenery to regulate airflow and temperature. Further site study involved site analysis, which informed the proposal through bioclimatic considerations such as sun, wind, temperature, as well as the integration of existing green areas and native vegetation. Sequential sectional walks done on the red segments reveal how spatial perception evolves along the site. This leads us to the design hypothesis. I propose a DJ-VJ booth on the Sanaya site in Ras Beirut, in which fragmentation is used to create a porous field of thresholds, pauses, and directional tensions. The proposal breaks continuous space into aligned planar fragments that produce partial enclosure and relational voids. The spaces between fragments become passages, waiting areas, and visual and acoustic filters. Movement generates a sequential experience of tension, pause, and revelation. Fragmentation here is not incompleteness, it is a generator of new spatial relationships and an open architectural order. Here is the site model, and the red rectangle represents the area in which my proposal is going to be. Here, the rectangles are not to scale, but the rectangle represents the bus stop, whereas the purple one represents the dwelling. As you can see, both are located on Dunant Street next to each other, ensuring accessibility and spatial continuity. While the low traffic of Dunant Street and its flat profile support safe integration within a fragmented threshold condition. From this point, the intervention, the dwelling, delimited by the blue rectangle, connects to the main Arida building through existing stairs and elevators. The dwelling is organized into differentiated zones: rest as a neutral and open anchor, eat as a defined and social space, sleep as an inward oriented zone enhancing interiority, and make as a secluded and intentional environment. This organization is supported by environmental systems, notably the sliding solar modulation screen, whose south-oriented tilting louvers regulate solar exposure and enable dynamic control of light and microclimate. Enclosures alternate between opaque and transparent conditions, with translucent materials capable of transitioning from translucency into opacity. Green spaces are integrated to regulate temperature and enhance environmental quality, with vegetation enveloping the make zone to create an immersive creative environment. This is reinforced by a greenhouse that ensures summer ventilation and passive cooling, while capturing southwest winds in winter to redistribute heat into living spaces.